We live in a world saturated with words, yet the deepest truths of the cosmos are not spoken, they are shown. They are held captive in lines of perfect geometry, etched onto the walls of ancient tombs, and woven into the very structure of the universe itself. These are the sacred symbols, the silent language of the soul. You see these patterns everywhere, on jewelry, in architecture, and in the designs of our digital world. But when you look at a symbol, do you truly see it? Or do you merely see the static, flat image? What if every single symbol is not just a drawing, but a condensed spiritual battery? What if it is a perfect snapshot of a monumental cosmic event, a profound philosophical idea, or a hidden historical process? What if the power is not in the design, but in the myth, the complete, forgotten story that gives it life? This video is an initiation into the voice of silence. We are going beyond basic dictionary definitions and diving into the esoteric heart of 5 of the most potent ancient symbols known to humanity. We will travel through time to unearth the foundational story, the myth that transformed a simple geometric shape into a doorway of power. We will not just examine the symbols, we will awaken the forces they represent. Prepare to learn how the Ouroboros became more than a snake, how the Labyrinth became more than a maze, and how these sacred designs contain the blueprints for your own spiritual awakening. The power of the symbol does not belong to the past. It waits silently for you to retrieve the myth and reclaim its energy. The true history of sacred symbols begins before words were ever written on papyrus, before the first clay tablet was fired. It begins in the deep, silent archives of the collective unconscious, the wellspring of primal human experience. Symbols are the primal language, the original method by which the divine communicated with early humanity. They are the universal grammar of the soul, instantly recognizable across every culture because they express forces that reside in all of us: birth, death, struggle, mastery, and eternity. Philosophically, the symbol is the ultimate bridge. The ancient mystics understood that reality is bifurcated. There is the unmanifest world, the realm of pure thought, divine intention, and absolute idea, and the manifest world, the dense material reality of form and limit. A sacred symbol is the perfect point of intersection, a lightning rod for spirit. When drawn, carved, or visualized, it temporarily grounds a tremendous cosmic force into the material plane, making the formless visible. This understanding was the cornerstone of entire wisdom traditions. Consider the Egyptian hieroglyphs, the sacred carvings. These were not mere phonetic script, they were ideograms. To write the symbol for the Eye of Horus was not to write the word eye. It was to invoke the full, complex energy of divine protection, healing, and restored balance. The symbol was the spiritual energy. Similarly, in Kabbalistic mysticism, the very letters of the Hebrew alphabet, such as the Aleph or the Bet, are considered not sounds, but cosmological forces, the atomic building blocks the divine used to construct the universe. To meditate upon a letter is to tap directly into the source code of creation. This echoes the philosophy of Plato, who taught that our material world is merely a shadowy reflection of perfect, eternal forms existing in the world of ideas. The symbol on your page is not the idea itself. It is a perfect shadow of the original, luminous form. The moment you recognize the shadow's source, the power of the original idea rushes into your consciousness. For the spiritual seeker, the symbol is an active tool, a yantra. It is a key that, when focused upon, instantly bypasses the cluttered intellect and speaks directly to the subconscious mind. The power resides not in the ink, but in the myth, the story of its origin, the historical process, or the profound cosmic truth it encapsulates. The myth is the instruction manual that allows the observer to activate the symbol's energy and unlock corresponding patterns of power, wisdom, and transformation within their own soul. To merely glance at a symbol is to see the body. To grasp its myth is to meet the soul. We begin our initiation by dissecting 3 potent keys that unlock worlds of ancient gnosis. 1. The Eye of Horus, or the Udjat. You see it everywhere, the stylized eye, often believed to be a simple talisman for protection. Yet, its power is rooted in one of the most foundational Egyptian myths, the battle between Horus, the god of order, and Seth, the god of chaos. In their titanic struggle for supremacy, Seth tore out Horus's eye, shattering it into pieces. The myth achieves its mystical significance when the fragmented eye is found and magically restored by Thoth, the god of wisdom and divine measurement. The Eye of Horus, or the Udjat, is thus not just protection, it is the emblem of restored wholeness. It represents the triumph of order over chaos, the healing of the fragmentation of the soul, and the achievement of perfect balance within the Gnostic mind. Furthermore, the mystics encoded within its very geometry the mathematical structure of reality. Each part of the eye, when separated, represented the precise Egyptian fractions: 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, 1/16, 1/32, and 1/64, which, when added together, mysteriously total 63/64. The missing 1/64 was said to represent the part that only Thoth, the divine architect, could fully restore, reminding the seeker that complete wholeness requires divine aid. To use the Eye of Horus is not to ask for protection from an external force, but to declare your intent to heal your own shattered parts and reclaim the imperfect perfection of your consciousness. 2. The Ouroboros, the serpent of eternity. Found from ancient alchemy to Norse mythology, the Ouroboros, the serpent or dragon consuming its own tail, is one of the most hypnotic images in esoteric wisdom. The myth is simple. This creature eternally nourishes itself by consuming its own body. This symbol carries the overwhelming weight of eternity and the perfect cycle. It is the absolute definition of energy conservation, where nothing is ever truly destroyed, only transformed. The Ouroboros is the true alchemist's goal, the realization that the beginning is the end, and the end is the beginning. In the spiritual sense, the Ouroboros is the symbol of self-consumption for self-renewal. It teaches that the spiritual process is a closed circuit. You must willingly sacrifice the lower self, your ego, your limitations, your old identity, the body of the serpent, in order to feed and rebirth the higher self. The toxic energy you destroy is the precise fuel for your subsequent creation. The Ouroboros forces you to confront the eternal recurrence of life, death, and resurrection within your own consciousness. 3. The Tree of Life, the cosmic map. This is perhaps the most profound blueprint in Western esotericism. The Kabbalistic Tree of Life is not merely a tree, it is the architectural diagram of the universe and the human soul. The myth behind it is the story of divine emanation. It maps the 10 stages, or Sephiroth, through which the infinite, unknowable divine source, the Ein Sof, stepped down and limited itself in order to create the finite material world we inhabit. It shows the flow of energy from the highest crown, Kether, pure being, down through intellect and emotion, and finally grounding into Malkuth, the physical earth, or your current reality. The tree is the seeker's roadmap for spiritual ascent. The true work is to reverse the downward flow of creation and climb the paths, integrating each quality, or Sephiroth, until the soul is reunited with Kether. To meditate upon the tree of life is to hold the entire architecture of the cosmos and the human psyche in a single sacred image. We continue our descent into the silent language of power, turning now to two symbols that delineate both the challenge of the path and the ultimate potential of the perfected human spirit. 4. The Labyrinth, the thread of Gnosis. Most people confuse the labyrinth with a maze. A maze is designed to confuse you and force you into dead ends. A labyrinth, found etched into the floors of great cathedrals and on megalithic stones, is designed differently. It is a single, winding, circuitous path that guarantees, without fail, that if you follow it, you will reach the center. The myth is that of Theseus, the Minotaur, and the thread of Ariadne. The outer journey is one of entering a confusing, intimidating structure. The true esoteric meaning, however, is that the labyrinth represents the path of initiation, the long, necessary journey into the deep chambers of the self. The center is your true, immutable core, your gnosis. The Minotaur residing within is your shadow, the untamed, monstrous ego that must be faced and integrated, not killed in the conventional sense. The essential, forgotten key is Ariadne's thread, the symbol of pure intuition or the inner guide. It is the constant, luminous connection to the source that guarantees your safe exit and re-entry into the world, transforming the journey from a bewildering loss of self into a triumphant retrieval of self. The philosophical implication is profound. The spiritual path is often designed to appear complicated and slow. The longest way around, the winding journey through past conditioning and self-doubt, is paradoxically the shortest way inward to your eternal center. 5. The Pentagram, the microcosm made divine. The pentagram, the five-pointed star, is one of the most powerful and dualistic symbols in human history, revered by the ancient Sumerians and utilized by Pythagoras, who called it the symbol of perfection. The myth of the pentagram is the myth of the perfected human. Its 5 points correspond directly to the 4 classical elements: earth, air, fire, and water, which make up all physical reality. The critical 5th point, the one pointing upward, is the spirit, the quintessence or aether. The pentagram is the ultimate representation of the microcosm, man, as the perfect reflection of the macrocosm, universe. It shows that within your 5-pointed physical body, head, arms, legs, resides the capacity to master the 4 elements of the world and the 4 facets of the self, will, feeling, thought, and body, by placing the 5th element, spirit, above all. The symbol's profound nuance lies in its polarity. Upright pentagram. This is the symbol of the divine man, the initiated seeker. Spirit is elevated, governing and informing the material elements. This is the act of creation. Inverted pentagram. The lower 2 points, often representing earth and matter, are elevated over the single point of spirit. This is the path of the black magician, or the purely ego-driven individual, where matter and base desire dominate the soul. The pentagram is thus a powerful mirror, asking the student a direct question: which force guides your form? It symbolizes the conscious choice inherent in all esoteric practice to place the immortal soul over the transient ego. When we view these 5 symbols together, the Eye of Horus, restoration, the Ouroboros, self-renewal, the tree of life, the map, the labyrinth, the path, and the pentagram, the goal, we realize they are not disparate images. They are sequential stages of the great work, forming a unified, silent instruction manual for the seeker determined to achieve spiritual mastery.
A symbol on a page is inert. A symbol held in consciousness, powered by its myth, becomes a key. It bypasses the analytical mind and speaks directly to the subconscious, the seat of creation. The purpose of this gnosis is not to decorate your life, but to give you the precise tools needed to execute the great work. Here are 3 sacred techniques to actively integrate the energy and wisdom of these 5 ancient symbols into your life. I. Active symbol mapping, the tree and the pentagram. The combined energy of the tree of life and the pentagram provides a powerful diagnostic and centering tool. The technique: when facing a major challenge, be it financial, relational, or health-related, use the tree of life as a cosmic map to locate the source of the issue. For instance, if your issue is chaotic, uncontrolled passion, you are operating solely in Geburah, severity without balance. If your issue is a lack of foundation, it is Malkuth, kingdom that requires anchoring. Once diagnosed, close your eyes and visualize the upright pentagram perfectly superimposed on your own body. As you breathe in, visualize the 5th point, spirit, drawing down pure luminous energy into the deficient area, e.g., down into your legs and root chakra for Malkuth issues. Hold the consciousness that spirit is commanding matter and restoring balance. The benefit: this technique stops you from treating symptoms. It forces you to operate as the microcosm you are, directly correcting the architectural flaws in your life blueprint using the perfect blueprint of the cosmos. 2. The Ouroboros cycle, alchemical sacrifice. The myth of the self-consuming serpent is your tool for alchemical transmutation, the conscious death of the lower self to fuel the higher self. The technique: identify one major negative pattern or egoic limitation, the old identity, the serpent's body that you know is consuming your potential. This could be chronic procrastination, victimhood, or a specific fear. For 3 days, visualize the Ouroboros consuming that specific pattern. See the serpent's head close upon the tail and see the pattern dissolve into dark, volatile energy. Acknowledge the death or sacrifice of that part of your identity. Crucially, immediately replace the sacrificed energy. After the visualization, consciously affirm and begin to embody the new creative impulse that must be born from that death, e.g., transforming procrastination into purposeful action. The benefit: this practice uses the universal law of energy conservation. You are not wasting energy struggling against a bad habit. You are utilizing the cyclic energy of the Ouroboros to recycle destructive power into constructive, regenerative fuel. 3. The Labyrinth walk and the Udjat key, retrieving inner guidance. When faced with profound indecision or mental static, the maze of the intellect, you must seek the center. The technique: if you can, physically walk a labyrinth pattern or simply visualize one. Before beginning, hold the complex problem. As you walk inward, acknowledge the thoughts and doubts, the walls of the maze. Focus only on the knowledge that the center will be reached. At the still, quiet center, visualize the Eye of Horus, the symbol of restored balance, and retrieve Ariadne's thread, the single, clearest, most unburdened, intuitive thought or answer that arises. This thread is your inner guidance. Carry that precise, luminous insight back out into the world, the return journey, and commit to acting upon it immediately. Challenge tip: the greatest obstacle is the ego's insistence on logic, the minotaur whispering doubt. Trust the first, unburdened insight received at the center. The power of the labyrinth lies in surrendering the intellect to the guaranteed guidance of the soul. We began this journey by questioning whether we truly see the symbols that surround us. We conclude with the understanding that they are not mere lines of geometry from a forgotten era, but the primal language of the divine, a direct conduit between the world of ideas and the world of form. The power was never in the shape, but in the myth, the story of creation, struggle, and transcendence that acts as the instruction manual for activating that power within your own consciousness. The true initiation is this: to stop treating the sacred symbol as decoration and start treating it as the blueprint of your perfected self. We urge you tonight to select one symbol, Perhaps the Ouroboros to sacrifice an old habit, or the Labyrinth to find guidance. And use its technique. Use the myth as your focus and the symbol as your anchor. The cosmos is speaking to you in a silent, beautiful language. It is time to speak back.